What we saw was that they took something away from the city that was central to its identity, and that is the brewing of beer. It took away a lot of its cultural aspects with the German nature of the city as well. It really kind of changed the city in a lot of ways, but there wasn't a real big appetite for Prohibition in Milwaukee.
Those who opposed Prohibition argued that drinking was not the problem, that gluttony was the problem, that you can't penalize the responsible drinker by attempting to stop the excessive drinker.
Turner Hall was a center point for especially German immigrants since way back, the 1850s. And Turner is actually not a last name, it's a German word for gymnast. And so these were folks that came together to create a series of physical exercises that they would supplement through mental exercises. And those were generally forums where folks would discuss important ideas. And for the German folks living in Milwaukee, they felt very much like a target at that time. And that's why the Milwaukee Turners, as well as the many, many other thousands of German Americans living here, didn't subscribe to Prohibition. Here are a couple of old Prohibition-era recipes. 1/2 pound of dried apricots, 1/2 pound of dried seed raisins, 1/2 pound yellow cornmeal, 1 pound brown sugar. Here's another one on how to make what sounds like rocket fuel, but I think it's some sort of strange version of wine. Take a barrel of standard size, preferably a discarded whiskey barrel, and cut a rectangular hole into one of the staves. It sounds a lot like the kind of booze folks might make in prison or kids are experimenting with in failed kombucha experiments.
Over here we have a prescription for medicinal liquor during Prohibition. So the prescription on there is just, some type of elixir.
A company made flasks modeled on a very popular camera called the Rexo camera. And so this is similar in shape, but it has a screw top for putting in your alcohol.
Many buildings were built with stained glass windows in the front because it hid the fact that liquor was being consumed on the inside. You couldn't see in. Well, the revenuers were wise to that, and they would often come inside and have a look around.
The big joke is that when Prohibition went into place, 2,000 taverns turned into 2,000 soda shops, where you could get soda and probably get a little something added to your soda as well.
The FBI did find in 1928 that there was 1,100 speakeasies in Milwaukee. So that's a population of 500,000 people at the time. But that's just what they found. Even our mayor at the time, Daniel Hohn, said, well, it'll take more than the entire U.S. Army to dry up the city of Milwaukee.
In the first year of Prohibition, the city made $100,000 off of fines and citations. However, that was offset by the fact that they lost $500,000 because they weren't issuing liquor licenses anymore.
There was an old saying in Milwaukee that if you wanted to ask where to find a drink, just ask a cop. The police department thought the Prohibition Amendment was so farcical that they had to send Prohibition agents from the National Prohibition Bureau into Milwaukee to enforce it.
About 1920, when Prohibition is kind of in full swing, sort of way to make a living, and that was to open up a soda pop parlor, in quotation marks. And that meant that they were going to be brewing beer downstairs and sort of putting it under the guise of a soda pop parlor offering food. In 1927, May 31st, one of the federal agents had really established a nice working relationship with John as a customer. He pretended that he had bought this new car outside, so out John and this gentleman go outside to go check out the new car, and in come the raiding agents catching Anna pouring beer and liquor. In retrospect, that was a year before the 18th Amendment was repealed in Wisconsin, so they must have known something was going on because they appealed it. And lo and behold, in 1928, Prohibition ends in Wisconsin and the ticket is basically dismissed.